Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Skees. I am the Director of Media for TAPS. Thank you for joining us today for this information session on team tennis. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes, but first I've got a few housekeeping items to cover. First things first, this webinar is being recorded. You're going to receive an email with a link to that recording as soon as it's ready. It should be later this afternoon or tomorrow morning. We've got a few other things going on, so it's going to take some time. Second, while we go through the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the questions feature in the GoToWebinar interface. You're going to see a little drop-down menu in that GoToWebinar panel, and one of those things will say questions. You can just type them in there. We're going to try to answer those as we go, but if we don't get to yours right away, don't worry. We'll have a brief Q&A catch-up at the end. So if you think of something, just ask it whenever, and we'll try to address those as they come up. But if we don't get to your question today, or if it's just too specific to answer appropriately in this venue, please send us an email, info@taps.biz, or call us at the office afterwards and we will get you sorted out. I am joined today by Brian Bunselmeyer, TAPS Executive Director, Steve Perdome, TAPS Associate Director, and Will Dixon from the TAPS office staff is helping us out behind the keyboard. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Brian to get started.
We're here talking team tennis. A year ago, this was the first event we had coming out of COVID, and what a great response we had. Thank you to all those attended last year, and thank you for coming back and bringing a few friends with you. We're really looking excited. We're moving from Round Rock. We're moving it back up to Waco Regional Tennis Center. Thank you to Waco Regional Tennis Center for making that happen for us this year. Steve and I will be there. We'll be there on Monday morning and rock through. I've had a few questions about the date. The date is the 18th and 19th. When we originally set this, we had 31 schools sign up. We're down to 17, but thank you to those 17 that are going to make the trip to Waco. One of the things that's also available, they will be available and open on Sunday. You may have to rent the courts to get out there, but if you need a place to hit on Sunday, if you're coming in early, please feel free to reach out to Waco Regional Tennis Center for that information and whatever. We do have a schedule. We're going to be there and be ready to have team registration and check-in at 7 a.m. You don't have to be there at 7 a.m. Hope you sleep in a little later than that. But the tennis center will be open at that time. Maybe the lights will be on. They're supposed to be. Get a little hitting in early. So that first flight, that first round of schools, as you look at the schedule, be there on time. We are going to start at 8, so feel free to get there at 7 o'clock. Start your warm-ups, get your camp ready. So that is our 6A schools, that first round. The next round won't start till 10 o'clock or thereabouts. So if you're the 5A schools or if you're the 1A schools, 2A schools, again, you have that opportunity. So look at that schedule. We'll show you where it's posted here in a little bit. But you don't have to be there at dark 30 if you're not going to have to play until 10 o'clock. We'll definitely talk to you as we go. This is going to serve as our coaches meeting as we move forward. If you do have questions, please reach out to the TAPS office either by phone or by email at info@taps.biz. We'll have a little bit more on all that here in just a second. But Steve, hit us with the rules and governance section, that hard part that Robert would normally cover, but today it's you.
Yeah, I miss Robert. No, rules and governance. Really, the first thing that we want to talk about is making sure that everybody there has their eligibility established in TAPS. And one of the great safety nets that we have for you is the Rank 1 system. So making sure that everybody's in the Rank 1 system, all coaches, high school coaches, all of them, make sure they've created a coach's profile, complete all the information. We need good numbers, cell phone number, and email, and the professional acknowledgement of rules, and of course complete the scope and make sure that you're ready to go. In terms of the students information, we want to make sure that they're all in correctly. Make sure you've created your team, build your roster, and when you do that, that'll show if they're red or green. And if they're red, that means you need something to make them eligible. So again, put them into that team, build the roster, look at it, and then see if there's anything else that you need to do before you go out and start on this first competition. The students will have their student profile, their acknowledgement of rules, the medical information, make sure that they have the history, the physical. All your school-based forms will be part of that as well. And again, if they're a transfer, if they're not living with their parent or something like that, again, the system will kick that out, let you know what you need to have completed. So again, just stay up with Rank 1, and it'll really guide you to what you need to do and working with your athletic directors as we go. Okay, Brian, going into the rules a little bit. And what's going to happen there when we get on the court?
Basically, we follow our general USTA rules. One of the things that is different from our normal rules in TAPS is we, like last year, will allow the coaches to be on the court. You'll have 4 courts as close together as possible. So between the 2 coaches, as long as you're out of the way, you can be out there. You can give some encouragement. And, Coach, we are definitely asking you to not slow the pace of the game down. Coaching occur on the turns 3, 5, 7, 9 as we go on down the road. TAPS uniform rules remain in effect. Please make sure that you are looking good and make sure that we have good outfits on. It'll be a little chilly in the morning, but it's going to warm up as the day goes on. So we look forward to that. USTA and TAPS rules. The format, we look for a minimum of 4 boys and a minimum 4 girls. Girls cannot play for boys nor boys for girls. So if you don't have a full complement, something happens, COVID, sickness, illness, travel takes you out of that, that would be a forfeit of that round. One of the things that we will do is we'll have 2 boys singles, 2 girls singles, 2 boys doubles, 2 girls doubles, and a mixed. That's if we get there. So one of the things that happened last year as a result of play, it took a while. We tried to play all the matches, and as a result, one of the things that I want to do this year in moving forward is to make sure everybody understands once you determine a winner in the match between the 2 schools, once one team has won 5, we're going to go ahead and conclude the match at that point. So there's 9 total, 9 possible matches. If time allows or if open courts allowed, we would allow that mixed doubles to go ahead and play or whatever else hasn't been played. But once you reach a victory level of 5 to whatever, we are going to conclude the match and move forward. Time is just one of those deals. We don't want to be there till midnight, even though we could be. It makes for an awful long day of tennis. Scoring will be 2 out of 3 in each match. We will do no ad scoring. First one to 4, first one to get there and win those 4 points wins. However, we will at the if they're tied at 6 games apiece, we will go to a 7-point tiebreaker, and that will be uncapped. So it's an uncapped 7-point tiebreaker if you're tied at the end of 6. And then if you go to the 3rd set, it will be a 10-point super tiebreaker if it's needed. So each match contributes a point to the overall team score. Mixed doubles will be played if necessary. So again, we may get to the mixed, we may not. If you're tied at 4-4 or in the process, the 5th match hasn't been won, we would surely look at starting that. So unlike last year where we allowed students to play all 3, you can only play 2 out of 3. You can play doubles and mixed, or you can play singles and doubles, or doubles and mixed, whatever that may be, but you cannot play all 3. Last year we wore some folks out and we were having to wait around for the matches to conclude as a result. So again, 2 out of 3 match scoring, no ad scoring. The match schedule will, if you'll bounce over to the TAPS website, you're going to go to the TAPS website, www.taps.biz. You're going to click on athletics, then you're going to click on team tennis, and we have the provisional schedule posted. We had a couple of courts in error, but I think that we've caught back up on that. Click on championship info, and let's see if it's on there. Will, up in the big red bar at the top. See if Kelly's caught us up. So as you drop down there, the schedule right in the middle of the deal says click here for schedule. It's a good place to click for the schedule. I need those reminders myself. So in the blue, you have the 6As. In the gold, you have the 5As. In the green, you have the 4s and the 3s, and in 1 and 2 you'll have the reds. So as of this point, after a drop by 2 schools, there will only be 3 for the 5As. Everybody else will play a minimum of 4 matches. So if you're in 5A, you may be starting 6:30 or 7. You may wish to go ahead and stay the night on Monday. It is a long trip back to Laredo. My good friend Rodrigo Romo from St. Augustine said they will be spending the night rather than trying to make it back down to the border. So there's the schedule. As you can see, hopefully every group is on 4 courts. At the present time, Waco Regional has agreed to give us 16 courts, so unless something happens, we'll play that through. Right now, the weather looks good. We will also have a weather forecast in hand the next day. We'll get that out to you. So we'll bounce back one off of that. Go back to the Team Tennis page for me, however you get back there. So the live stream, we will not be able to do live streams this time. We thought we were going to be able to do remote truck. Financially and technology-wise, we were not able to make that happen. Photos, John Skis, our announcer that began us today, will again be there this year to take pictures on the afternoon of Monday and into Tuesday, so we look forward to having those pictures for you. Going back to the deal, the map to the facility is Waco Regional Tennis Center, 900 Lakeshore. It hadn't moved. It's still there. On the map of the facility, we're going to allow you, unlike spring tennis, you can put your camps wherever you desire. We will be under the big patio cover just like we were last year for spring tennis. Again, if you're bringing in coolers, they're going to ask you to not bring a cooler through the inside. We have done in the past where we spilled a little bit. Folks have slipped, and lawsuits are not good. So we're going to stay away from coolers coming through the inside. So as we go forward, USTA rules, we've reached out to Kevin. We hope to have at least one, if not two, roving officials. It is going to be, integrity, and it is your honor system as you call ins and outs. We're probably not going to be calling foot faults as a staff if we do have rules officials, but if we cannot get to all the courts, we will ask the head coaches or the coaches for each of the schools to go help each other out. So same thing we kind of did last year. So if they're having a problem, the two head coaches can get together. They can watch the match and see how we go from there. TAPS will furnish all Wilson balls. So again, you don't have to bring anything but your team and your warm-up balls. One thing that will happen this year, you will put your entries into the TAPS desk at least 15 minutes prior to the match. Steve and I will be there to place those back out, tell you what courts you're going to be assigned or how it's going to work out. That way, both coaches are turning in their roster at the same time. You can't see what one person is doing, what another person is doing. You're basically turning in a blind roster. So we're looking forward to that aspect of it. We're looking forward to being there. Like I said, the weather's looking good. It'll be chilly in the morning, but it should warm up nicely in the afternoon. Is NCSA going to be there, Steve? Do you know if Jabari's going to make it, or are we going to be out without him today?
We're going to send out some information, and I'll get something on whether Jabari will be there. He was there for match play golf, and he's going to try to make it out there for team tennis, so we'll get some confirmation on that.
So Next College Student Athlete, great sponsor for TAPS. Hopefully they can be there. If not, we will get you some information on all that. Children's Health Andrews Institute, though, our health and safety sponsor, will have Larry Lasky, our favorite trainer from Children's Health Andrews Institute, will be on site. So we will have a full-service trainer available if you need them. Hopefully you don't, but if the incidents occurs, just like last year, Larry will be there to take care of our athletes, our spectators, etc. We are asking our spectators to go ahead and purchase a ticket at TAPS Tickets. So if you go to taps.biz and then you click on the big word that says tickets, that we are asking them to purchase a no-fee ticket. That is basically their COVID affirmation that they do not have the symptoms of COVID. They are COVID-free. You as a coach will be doing that same thing when you get there. Just like last year, you'll have the little form to fill out that says you are COVID-free. The entry fee is $250. If you've got the check cut, or if you're going to write the check when you get there, please bring that with you. Steve will be on hand to take that. If it becomes a problem, you can't get that done, please don't worry about it. Please don't go sit on the business office door and wait for him to come in. Rhonda can always bill you once we get back. So we're here to make it as special as possible. We're really excited to have team tennis. I think it's something that's going to continue to build momentum. And again, I thank you personally, Steve thanks you as well, for making it as special as it was last year. And we just know it's going to be as good this year. Steve, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, and it's not just a single event. We feel like it's something that's going to help build fall tennis overall in our schools. And again, some schools have already done that, and other schools are starting to add that aspect. So again, we're very excited for TAPS, but especially for TAPS tennis. And again, you guys that were there last year, you're just going to be with us watching it grow and get better and better.
If I forget to ask you when I see you as the coach, please make sure you stop by and talk to Steve and I. We are working with UTR, Universal Tennis Rating, and the group there. They've got some great options for us in the future. One of the things that we're looking at is how to create a professional relationship between TAPS and the UTR group. So I just need some input if you've been a part of that, if you haven't been a part of that, if you've been using that to schedule your matches for the fall team tennis situation, definitely want to get some input. So they can only play 2 lines, not 3. You can make substitutions. You can change their line in between matches. You can bring more players than 4 if you want. If you bring more players, again, they could only you only put, well, basically you could put 2 boys singles and 2 boys doubles. That'd take care of 2, 4, and 6. You could bring a 7th for mixed. If you have that many kids, hallelujah, go ahead and play them. But each player may only play 2 lines, not 3. Steve, anything else that I'm missing that you can think of that you want everybody to know on the way down?
No, I think we're in good shape. And like I said, we're looking forward to seeing everybody and hopefully, like I said, having a spectacular event like we did last year.
The correction there, I just you can't change. Once the match starts, your lineup is set. If you do have injury, that would become a forfeit on the next round. So if you had a singles player that was going to play singles and doubles, they injure themselves, they would have to withdraw from singles. You would not be eligible to make a substitution into doubles. So you may only substitute or change players in between the matches. I would ask you again at Waco Regional Tennis Center, remember that they do have the clubhouse and they do have the workout facility. They are going to ask us if we're driving vans or buses to park away from the facility to give their paying customers full opportunity. We're going to send another email out tomorrow morning. I know that in the past during the spring they've done some Subway orders, so if you're worried about food or feeding your players, we're kind of out there in the middle of nowhere. So I think that will be available. Steve, am I correct or am I incorrect?
Yes, I think we have the link on the coach's information also, so that's worked out very well in the past.
And we will have basically you'll come by and pick up your lineup sheet. You'll fill it. You'll pick up the lineup sheet from us. You'll fill it out. You'll bring it back, and then we'll hand it back out to you when you get ready to go. So we'll have all the paperwork you need. Just do me a favor, jump in there on Rank 1. If you haven't created a team tennis roster, make sure you do that. Make sure your kids are ready to rock and roll so that our kids and our staff and everybody is ready to go in Rank 1. So the way that you have 1 through 4A, you're playing on the first day, you're playing in your pool, and then the winners will play the winners, the seconds will play the seconds, thirds will play thirds, fourths. So the only one that's playing 1 day only are the 5A schools. Everybody else will play at least one match on day 2. The 6As will play 2 on day 2. For 1 and 2A and 3A, 4A, you will be awarded your division championship based on your pool play, but then we do want to give you that second day of play, see how you do against the other pool. So again, we've moved it forward pretty quick. So if you win your division, you win the state championship. So if you're if you have the best record in 5A, you're the 5A champion, which is Division 2. You're the Division 1 champion if you win the Division 1, which is 6A. Division 3 and Division 4 again. If you win the best of those 4, you'll be ready to go. So again, it is not a state title as the spring tennis, but it is a tournament title, so you can call yourself the TAPS Team Tennis Champion, and it will be the TAPS Team Tennis Championships for the fall of 2021. Steve, are there any questions? John, anything I'm missing, or are we pretty well ready to go? I would say the second day is required. If you don't play, your opponent doesn't get to play. So if both of you were to say you don't want to play, then we would not force you to play. I would hope that you wouldn't go home early and leave somebody hanging out there. That was one of the questions, is the second day required? So my hope is that we could get you on or find you a court early and make that work as quickly as possible for you to get as much tennis as possible. So if both of you agreed, then that would be a situation where we could work that out with both of you. Again, TAPS 254-947-9268, 254-947-9268, or info at taps.biz. If you need an opportunity to get help with Rank 1, our ladies, Rhonda and Kelly, will be back in the office tomorrow to help you get through your Rank 1 situations. Give us a call or send us an email. So again, the titles are determined by what you do in the first day for everybody but 6A. 6A, you do have 2 matches on the second day to get you through there. But we'll walk you all the way through that. If you've got additional questions, reach out and we'll walk through. Appreciate everything y'all are going to do. We're so excited to see you. Come on down to Waco. We'll have a party when you get there. Thanks for joining us for TAPS Team Tennis, the webinar for 2021.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Will. And thank you, folks, for being here today. Again, this recording will be sent to you later this afternoon or early tomorrow, and it's going to be placed on our YouTube page. That's youtube.com/tapsbiz, in case you need to reference that. And with that, folks, you enjoy the rest of your day.